Hi guys and welcome to #SoccerKalitzStyle. As you know, the show that brings you all the latest in football, local and abroad. And today we're especially going to take a look at the nice result of Arsenal yesterday, since it's been a terrible few weeks for Mikel Arteta and his men. At least the Arsenal supporters have something to smile for this week, and especially after that convincing win last night, it was excellent. With me, I have Mr. Roddy Wenger here, the regional football specialist and analyst. And as you know,
Here
he
we
always
are.
brings us the and unbiased results and also player ratings. Hi, Roddy, how are you, man?
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better after my birthday weekend, after being sick for 2 days, 3 days. I'm feeling much better. Arsenal just lifted my spirit a bit. So yeah, I'm feeling good, Eddie.
Okay, cool, man. It's amazing what a win can do to the spirit of a man. Even
Yeah,
if it's physically sick, just to lift his spirit means a lot.
yes.
Okay, man. Let's get straight into it. What do you say about last night's performance against Sheffield United?
Well, for me, it was expected a win for Arsenal, definitely. The team they played bottom of the league, so you can definitely expect a win. They've been losing almost 25, I think it's 25 games now in the league. So yeah, Sheffield wasn't something to worry
Sure.
about, and I expected Arteta to take all 3 points at Sheffield United. So yeah, good performance, but hopefully they can copy this performance on Thursday night as well, playing away.
Yeah, just before we get into the all impensing player ratings, just to give us a heads up, who was your man that really showed something last night that stood out from the rest?
For me, basically, it was two players that was showing much more character than the rest. Number one for me was Nicolas Pepe. He was playing brilliantly. He took on the defenders. He took on the players. Week in and out, he's been showing to all the Arsenal fans and to everybody out there that he can play. He can take on players. He's got great skills. A bit of finishing here and there. A couple of games in, it definitely will boost him, give him that confidence also to scoring goals. The other player that we've all been crying out, which Arteta always left on the bench, is Martinelli. So you can
Yeah,
see this lad brought a whole different dynamic of energy, pace, and he's really good on the ball. Also, a couple of chances that he missed, but definitely a promising player. I would really like to see him playing much more, being in the team selection every single game like Arteta did with Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. So I would really like him to play up front. Maybe perhaps with Aubameyang or maybe just behind Aubameyang or Lacazette. So great opportunity for him, and he was one of my best players last night as well.
cool, man. For me also, he stood out from the rest. A lot of criticism has come to him in these past times, saying he's a big name signing or big money signing, but he hasn't showed the potential. You could see that price tag and that criticism or positive energies that he's getting. Whether it's criticism or positive feedback, it proves or it drives you to do something. Criticism in a positive or a negative manner, it just proves you to drive something. And I think he needed that criticism so that we can see the best out of Pepe. And he certainly showed
Yes,
the best for us this season, at least for me. Yeah. So yeah, and also Sheffield United, they weren't at the park yesterday. You could see there's something deflated in them. They're not themselves anymore. I know Chris Wilder is gone, but at least you have to show some pride. And they did create a few chances at their home ground, but ultimately we overrided them.
yes, definitely. I agree with you on that. We had too much. Our plan was to take the game towards them and just to see if we can create chances and scoring goals and all of those things, which basically it fitted well with Arteta's game plan. And it was a bit weird in the last stages of the game. Arteta playing three CDMs, it was like almost like he could have actually given the youngsters a chance that were on the bench. But yeah, taking 3 points, that is all Arteta wanted, and that is what he got.
Yeah, man. Listen, just my last point before we get into the ratings. Danny Cabellos, man. Last night Danny was something else, man. Danny was the Danny that I wanted from the last season, the one near to the
Yes.
end. That was that Danny. Last night Danny just ruled the park. Danny did his cappies this side. Danny did his hackies that side. And it all paid. Listen, the difference between last night and the other games was everything he tried worked last night.
Yes. Like they would
And the
say,
guys were,
everything turned into gold, like they would say normally.
yeah. That was really one of Danny's brilliant performances. So in goal, we had Mr. Bert Leno, the number one. What would you give him?
I'm gonna give him a straight 7. I think there was some nervy moments, specifically when they had like a ball in the box and he just pushed the ball out. He was supposed to just punch the ball out, and the players almost got to the ball and almost scored. So silly mistakes like that. But overall, it was just having a cup of tea for him and being relaxed and no real competition from the other team to keep him busy. So yeah, 7 out of 10 from my side.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as you know, we also have a few of our German friends that's also supporting the German league, and we spoke about it last time. We spoke about the Euros, and I asked them a specific question about Bert Leno, and I asked them, "Is there no place for Bert Leno in that Euro squad?" And they said no, because they have Neuer, and after him they had the Stegen, and so on and so on. But would you have a place for Bert Leno in your German squad?
I think, like, I fully agree with him. If you look at the other two keepers, the Stegen and Manuel Neuer, they are far better than him because they don't make these small errors in the game. It's errors that will lead you to concede and losing games as well. So he really needs to up his game and try to fight for the number one spot in the German squad, which is obviously, if you look at Neuer's record with the German squad, he has been the number one goalkeeper unless he gets injured or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, and, Leno needs to still learn a lot of things and he must stop making those silly mistakes, those small mistakes that will cost his team. So yeah, I would fully agree with him.
When you speak about small silly mistakes, is there any specific one that you would like to elaborate on a little bit more for our viewers that doesn't know
If
what Leno does?
there was a game, I can't remember against who it was, but he came out of the box and he handled the ball with his hand. I can't remember. Wasn't it
Oh
Tottenham
yeah,
or
yeah. When he had that
it?
rush of blood, who
It
was
was, yes. I can't remember what team it was, but it was supposed to be a game where we could have actually just competed against the team. But he came out of his box literally and he just handled the ball with his hand. I mean that is something a goalkeeper never in a million years would make a mistake like that. So he did that and get sent off in that game. I think we got two players sent off in that game. So
yeah, it was a big game. It
I
was a
think
big
it
game.
was. I think it was. If I can remember, I might be right or I might be wrong. I think it was against Wolves, and I'm not too sure. But
Mm,
yeah, that cost us the game. So stupid, silly errors like that. I mean, that is something for a professional player to really think about what you're doing before making a reaction like that. So, especially for a goalkeeper, you could have just left the ball because there was no pressure on him actually. So that was one of the big errors I think he made, which still I think he needs to work on. And I'm sure as a professional player, you in your mind you should not even making those errors at all.
yeah, man. Sure. And also for me, what I can see is he's still a bit inconsistent in his decision making. Especially doesn't know when to play from the back, when to play long. He still looks a bit
Yes,
shaky. He still looks a bit nervy. And he's the
yes,
one that's supposed to be commanding those backline and telling them to come in, go out, whatever he needs to do, and start to think for himself. Listen, if the pressure's on the guys, even though you have to play from the back, but you see there's an outlet on the wings or Laka is making a run, play it long. Don't have to
yes,
persist in doing this high risk short passes. That's what Arteta said. He likes a keeper or he likes the team to play from the back, but you have to analyze the risk also involved in that.
yes. And I mean, this is what Arteta's trying to do this season. Of course, he wants to play out of the back, but if you see there's a team pressing, especially the big teams like City and Liverpool and those teams, you need to make sure based on your decision making where you're gonna place the ball, who you're gonna pass the ball to. If you see there's too much pressure, then just get it high up and clear the ball towards the midfield or towards the striker, because that's gonna release a bit of pressure from you as a goalkeeper. So yeah, he needs to still work on those areas. Playing out of the back.
Yeah, so we played three from the back. So we had in that back line Callum Chambers, Holding, and was the last one? Was it
I think it
Ma-
was. I think it was. If wasn't it Cedric? No, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, and Pablo Mari.
and Maria? Let's start with Murray first. He played Murray in the position that Murray would like to be, a left-footed defensive holding player playing from the left-hand side of the three-man defense. What would you give Pablo Mari in that game?
I will give him an 8. I think he had a solid performance, and I've been saying this. If whenever Arteta plays Murray, he will always get good results, and that has been proven over the past couple of weeks now that if you start Murray or if you start Rob Holding with him, you will get obviously a win or a draw. But I haven't seen him play in a game where they lost. I might be wrong, but he's a solid player for me at the back.
Yeah, Murray has a good record. They haven't lost a game since Murray played. Um, and as you know, that I rate him highly because why Arteta was the one that went to go fetch him from wherever he was because he was first a Manchester City player and he didn't get
Yes,
the correct opportunities there. And then Arteta just said, "Listen, this is my man." And yeah, with the little injuries and niggles that they had here and there, I just hope and I feel that it's time for him now that Gabriel or David Louise is injured. It's time for him to start solidifying his position there. And I also think that Arteta should start to stick with this formation that he has now.
yes. Fully agree with you on that one. I think he should definitely stick with a combination at the back as well.
Yeah, man. Stop this chopping and changing. But we still have Gabriel on the outskirts. So where do you bring him in? Take out Chambers.
I wouldn't necessarily this time of the season change that formation of last night because you've watched the Liverpool game. This also the short passes Gabriel made in the box that led to goals being scored against Arsenal. So
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season, Gabriel was solid and good, but now it looks more like the intensity and the way the Premier League is being played and the teams you can see he's also lacking. He gets nervous when it comes to teams putting pressure on the defenders. So he must make sure that he clears the ball and that he passes the ball towards his players, and that is the mistake that he's been doing for the past couple of games. So I would just keep those two defenders there and the two left, the two attacking defenders would obviously we don't have Tierney now, but we would go with Cedric and perhaps I would even slot in Saka at the left back or right back. But yeah, this is the
Yeah.
situation we have. So Cedric and Chambers on the both ends of the park. So
Okay. Then we had in the middle of that defense we had Mr. Rob Holding, who's certainly starting to show now why Wenger or the club has always insisted or persisted in investing in him. What would you give him for the game last night, man?
I'll also give him an 8. I think they were the best players on the park, Pablo Mari, and besides the goals that have been scored, they made sure that there's a wall of defense at the back that there will no goals be leaked at the back because for the past few weeks, we like to concede early goals or early in the second half. So they haven't conceded any goals. So that's a good result also for Arsenal and for Teta. So clearly you can see the difference that these defenders really trying to make sure that we don't concede any goals. And that is what Rob Holding did. He's also good on the ball, giving also nice passes, very calm on the ball. And that's the type of player you want at the back defending.
Yeah, and as we saw one of these games in the season, I don't know who it was, when he was in an advanced position, He did some nice skills, nice stepping and stuff. So he's really a ball playing. Listen, those three defenders that we had last night, those are ball playing defenders. All of
Yes,
them. They know how to play a ball. Gabriel has also this rush of blood in him that the Brazilian has, David Louise. I just hope that
yes.
Louise doesn't rub off on him the bad things that Louise does. Those silly mistakes, those rushes of blood where you need to stand up but you go to the floor, or when you need to go to the floor but you stand up, put your hands in different places, pull back players when they've passed you. Those are silly mistakes that I hope Gabriel doesn't learn from David Luiz. Okay, so it's an 8 from Holding, and Murray also an 8, and then Callum Chambers. How did he perform for you?
I will give him a 7. Based on I've watched the game on the I think it's on the left hand side if I'm mistaken. There has
Yeah.
been a couple of counter attacks from Sheffield where this one player always went past him, and he needs to. There's just a little bit lack of pace, but he is definitely a good player. He can also attack. He's an attacking defender. He can play a false wing as well. He's showing also the same thing that Tierney is showcasing the whole season, going on the wing and crossing those balls, being in the box as well. So yeah, a solid 7 from me. I think he still needs to improve a lot of things though during the course of a match. Giving great passes and taking on the defenders and also coping with the pace of the opponent strikers or wingers.
Okay, yeah, man. For me, also Callum Chambers has really been solid this season since coming back from that injuries and little niggers that he had. Now, the question I would like to ask for you: if you were Mikel Arteta, would you give Rob Holding and Callum Chambers another contract?
I would definitely, based on their age, they also British players, so you want to keep that British score there. So I will definitely give them contracts. They're still young, so there's still a couple of seasons in them. Besides the injuries that, for example, Callum Chambers had. Callum Chambers is still a young player. Don't forget that, and he has been with Arsenal also for a while. So I would definitely sign them for give them a long contract extension. So why not?
Okay, the reason I'm asking you this, man, is because we have signed some defenders, and don't you think that's going to keep the door closed for some of those boys, especially Saliba coming in, Mavropanos, they're out in Greece, wherever he is, and yeah, we have these French players. We also have Maitland Niles, who's also been slotted in as some sort of a defender. We have okay, Guendouzi is a midfield player, but especially those three boys, Maitland Niles, Saliba, and Mavropanos. Don't you think that's going to hamper their progress if we're going to keep hold on to these central defenders, or it's going to thicken the
Well,
squad a bit too much?
You can always slot Chambers also in the midfield as well. He can play as a midfield as well. With the up holding, I don't think either Saliba or Mavropanos or this Greek
Yeah,
guy, he will get that position or be selected every week because Arteta trust Rob Holding. Rob Holding has been there for a couple of seasons now since we bought him. He's been showing that he can play. We won some FA Cups also with us, so there is the experience there. There is leadership there from his side. So for those young
yeah,
players to come in, remember Saliba is doing great in the League One now in France.
yeah,
But can he
yeah,
do it?
yeah. He's
Can he
there.
do it? Can he do it in the league? Because it's a different game. It's the intensity is higher, the physicality is much more here than in the French league. So yeah, he's performing very well in the French league. Hopefully, he can bring that type of performance also, yeah, next season or whenever he's playing with us again.
And let's hope Arteta trusts him to do that. Because remember, Arteta is the one that seems to doesn't have too much trust in him, and a player needs trust. And obviously, these players are also Mavropanos. For 3 games, he's been man of the match for them, the best defender. So these guys are really showing that they want to return to their clubs, hopefully, and bring that form with them because we need it. Right. Let's head to
Yes.
our wing backs. At the left hand side, we have Cedric. At the right hand side, who played there? Saka. One of those. Yeah,
No, it
Saka, Saka,
was.
Saka.
Yeah, I think it's. Saka played actually up front, but I think it was Chambers and obviously Cedric, and then the two central defenders. So
No, we
Cedric
played
was
three.
on
We
the
played three. We played three.
three.
Three at the back, yeah, and
Yes,
Cedric was on the left hand side,
one-
that wing back position,
yes,
and on the right back
yes,
position we
yes, yes.
also
You're
had
right.
some.
We had Saka and Cedric, I think, and then
Yeah,
Xhaka and Partey.
Xhaka, Partey, and Dani Ceballos in the three in the middle field. That's how Arteta set him up. So let's start with Cedric. What you going to give Cedric?
Cedric for 7 as well. I don't think he did that bad. There was a couple of loose passes here and there, but Cedric's quality. He's an international Portuguese player. He does sometimes a bit of mistakes, maybe on the counter. He's not keeping his man, but he's always giving you that experience on the pitch, and he's a great player pushing up front on the counter as well, or making those passes in the box of the opponent. So yeah, 7 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, listen, man, Cedric is really a great squad player to have. He's really a great utility player to have. You wouldn't mind having a player like that on the bench, but is he a consistent starter for you, say next season, on the right back
Consider
position?
consider what he has been doing for the past couple of games. I would pick him above Hector Bellerin, definitely. Bellerin's got pace, but there's no defense. Where Cedric gives you the best of both. He gives you a counter. He can give you also a defense, also a great solid defense when it comes against teams who are pushing up high. So yeah, and on top of that, his experience, and he's like I said, he's an international Portuguese player that plays also for Portugal, playing with the best
Yeah.
players there as well. So if you have that type of experienced player in your squad, you definitely want to start him every single game.
Yeah, and listen, just two more points to add to that. I think he has a bit more in his locker than Hector does. Because when it comes to his delivery, his final ball is better than Hector's. One-on-one positions, he knows how to get a. He has a trick or two in his locker room to get out of a tight situation. That's what I've seen from him. And what makes his case strong is Hector is obviously probably leaving us at the end of the season, going to PSG. That's why we
I
don't
think
see
so.
Hector featuring that much anymore.
I think Hector is one step out of the door already, considering that he's also still young and PSG has been on his radar for a while now. So if we can get him out, get some money, we can also spend some money on other younger players. And there's a player that I really like in that position, which is Lamptey from Brighton.
Yeah.
Um, Similar player to Hector Bellerin and to Cedric, but he is still very young and he can really push up high. He's got a lot of pace and he's defending quite well. So I will get a player like him also from Brighton to replace. But yeah, Cedric for me for now and until next season.
Yeah, certainly, man. That guy Tariq Lamptey has blistering pace. I saw him play
Yes,
for Brighton. He's a bit small
yes,
though. Yeah, same, but it's the
yes.
same in stature as Cedric and Bellerin. He is. That's what you get nowadays when you get these wing fullbacks or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, but I also rate him very highly. I can't wait for the transfer rumors program to start because a lot of stuff is gonna come out there. I'm just so excited about that. Okay, cool, man. On the right hand side, we had Bukayo Saka back from injury. Also got injured again last night. I don't know if you have any updates for us on that injury.
I watched the podcast with Ateta. They said it's not a major injury, but I don't think he's going to play on Thursday based on his injury yesterday. So they don't want to rush him to recover quickly. So I think Ateta wants to keep him for the league because obviously we still have Emil Smith Rowe. And look, there's young players on the bench as well. Edin Ketia got an opportunity also last night, 5 minutes in. Eddie can also cover for his position, but obviously you get something different from Bukayo Saka. And
Yeah,
Saka, for me, well, he also gets a 7. I think you know what you can expect from Saka. He's young. He's going to take on players. I can't remember how many fouls was made on him yesterday, but the
a
players,
lot.
the opponent, they in the back of the mind, they knew like this guy's got pace. He's gonna beat us one on one. So we might as well just put a foot in here and there. So and that is what he did yesterday, and he gave us that what do you call it, counter yesterday, and he gave those passes. But I still think he needs to work a lot on his finishing, and he
And
must
his
just
final ball.
Like Martinelli, take the opportunity and score. Don't hesitate and don't wait for the opportunity to come. Just take it and just score. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that's only a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, also for me, the average performance against the average team, um, which was probably what I expected from him coming back from injury,
Yes,
because you always play with the handbrake on when you have been injured a bit. And he was probably right to play that way, because why something last night just aggravated that injury again. But as you said, Arteta said it's not too serious. But we're probably going to see him in the Premier League again this weekend.
yes,
In the
against
middle of
Fulham.
the
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes. We have quite a nice run in. We still have to do a show on that run in these last few games.
yes,
These last 8 games, we have to put a show together for the run in. I'm gonna look to have some
definitely.
United Liverpool guest on the show. We can just join on that show, and then we can all talk about our last few games and our potential finishes in the league if things were to go well.
Yes,
Right in the middle of the park, we had Granit Xhaka, Danica Bailos, Thomas Partey. I'm gonna start with Xhaka. For me personally, Zaka was one of the man of the match candidates last night. He was solid. Nothing came past him. No silly mistakes, no silly passes. He kept his cool. But that's what you get when you play Partey next to him. I think Partey has this calming influence on him. What would you give the Iron Man of Switzerland for last night's performance?
I will give him a 7 as well. I also think he played well. This is a type of performance you actually want to see from Granit Xhaka in and out because you know his quality. Yesterday he was also playing. I don't know if you noticed, second half he was laying very deep like a defender. So he
Yeah,
always picked up the ball by the defense and carried it and just give it to Partey, and from Partey it goes up to the wingers, and from the wingers it goes to the striker. So yeah, he was defending. His defense yesterday was brilliant. He was also calm and cool on the ball. So yeah, Zaka played very well, but we want to see this type of consistency week in and out and not just in one game. So a 7 out of 10 for Granit Xhaka from me.
yeah, man. As you explained now, the way that we try to play, he picks it up, he pulls it out to one of the wingers. That was also one of the questions that I had to answer Friday night on the Arsenal show. When Morgan
Yes,
asked me, what do I say? How do I see us playing? And I told him, we had a few discussions about this, and I tend to agree with what Gunner 96 said. Farhan, our type of play is we want to play from the back. We try to give it to Granit Xhaka or David Luiz or Thomas Partey, a ball carrying defensive minded player, to come and pick it up short, move it into our wing backs. From there, the chances will be created. Understand? That is
yes,
that is what we actually try to play, and that is what Granit Xhaka did wonderfully well. The basic stuff, picked up the ball and sprayed it to the fast men to do the attacking. That's what he needs to do. That's what I love about him. Last night was the Granit Xhaka like. Next to him, Thomas Partey, the man from Ghana. What would you give him?
I'm gonna give him a 6. I know 6 is a bit low, but I've been analyzing Partey since he started until now, how he plays.
Yeah,
You know, him winning the ball, there's a 100% chance that he will get a ball. But what let him down in most of these games, okay, he did assist also yesterday to Lacazette, but he's giving away so many passes to the opponents. He's giving passes where you would think a guy of his stature would make a better pass, and he's giving the ball away too many times. So that is the only problem I've been looking at for the past couple of games that he played. So if he can work on that, because you've seen Partey playing at Atletico Madrid, the quality he brought in. So the type of Partey we're getting in the league is completely different. Yes, defensively he's a box to box player. He's all over the park. It's just the passing part that he needs to work on. So Besides that, anything is spot on. Anything clearance, blocking the ball, getting possession, all of that works out brilliantly. So it's just his passing game that is letting him down in every game.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that these last few games that has been the problem because I've also picked it up. I don't know what the reason is for that. His first few games when he played for us, his passing accuracy was in the 90s. It was in the
Yeah,
90s. When he stole the ball, passing accuracy was great. He took up the ball, he drove through that defense, made those penetrating runs before releasing, all of that stuff. I think he's playing a bit with the handbrake on. I think he's playing a bit within himself, probably because of instructions he got from management, or just because they want to manage his injury. But as you said, I think we need to see the best out of Thomas Partey now in these last few games, and I think he's gonna, if he should stay fit, and all the players should stay fit as they are. I think we have a good chance of getting into those European spots again, even if it's number 7. We shouldn't look too far down. Then we had
yeah.
Mr. Danny Caballos, as we spoke about him in the first when we started the show. I raved about him because yeah, man, Danny was really a great player for me last season, and I was happy to see him performing like that last night again. He had one of two of those games when he played with Odegaard also, where he performed well. But last night for me was his best performance in the Arsenal shirt this season. What would you give Danny?
Um, I made a little joke yesterday to one friend. I told the one friend, it always looks like Denis Ceballos is only the player who wants to play brilliant against Sheffield because I don't know if you can remember, he was the player that scored in the FA Cup also against Sheffield last season. He scored that winning goal. I think it was 1-1, and then he scored and he performed so well last season. So now he did it again against Sheffield. So Sheffield is his team to play against, and Dennis Ceballos on his touches, his passes, it was just spot on, man. So for him to perform like that was also it gives a signal to Arteta that why he needs to play there and why Odegaard is not going to take his position there. So yeah, he played very well. So I'm gonna give him an 8 for that performance. Especially that flick in the box for Lacazette, where
Yeah,
he assisted
yeah,
Lacazette. That's the type of passes you want to see. That is what Mesut Ozil gave us couple of seasons ago. That's the type of passes you want to see. That clinical passes where you slice through the defenders and you just make those deadly passes. Some are okay. Partey's pass was brilliant, so that is what you want to see from Ceballos week in and out as well. So brilliant play by Ceballos. I hope that every single game that he can bring this also to the team and to the game as well.
cool, man. Yeah, let's hope he does it. Another question for you, quick questions. I have a lot of these days. If you were Mikel Arteta, would you sign Danny permanently?
I always look at for how long can this player play, how young he is, his experience for what club he's playing. Denis Ceballos, maybe some of them will agree, but I rate him also highly. Okay, he plays for Arsenal, it's a different ball game. But you look at Denis Ceballos when he came through the ranks, the under 2021 squad for Spain, and he also
Yeah,
played for Spain also now a couple of games. He's a completely different player. He's still young. He's not even he's under the 25s, under 25s now. He's still a young player, and to play already for Real Madrid and to be in that team and coming from other Spanish clubs as well. So he's got a lot of experience also, and his desire to play for Arsenal. You can see this guy is passionate about Arsenal Football Club. He wants to play for Arsenal Football Club. He's been showing this every single time. Whenever we score, you can see the desire. So I would definitely sign him. I would sign him just for the fact for long term. It's like a long term investment. You will have a brilliant player that can improve year in and out and become one of the great Spanish players in the league.
okay. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. If you had to choose, you have the money, you have the deal, you have to choose between him and Martin Odegaard. Who would you go for?
Look, Martin Odegaard is something different, completely different. Martin Odegaard has been they named him the wonder kid for since he was 16. So if you watch Odegaard playing since he was, and he's now the captain of his national squad, that already speaks highly about him and making bigger volumes out there than Dennis Ceballos and Martin Odegaard. He just came and he started scoring. He's been assisting and he's been playing far better than Ceballos, definitely. So I will take Odegaard any day. To be honest, any given day, I will
Okay.
sign him up. Even if I have to sign him today, I will do that also.
Okay, so there's no debate.
There's no debate around it.
Yeah, listen, and Odegaard is the captain ahead of Haaland. So that also speaks
Yes,
volumes. That speaks volumes, man, on Odegaard. But let's not dwell too much on him. Let's go to our front three. We had Pepe, we had Laka, and we had the Brazilian one, the magical kid. I first have to start with the magic kid. What would you give him? Gabriel Martinelli.
I hope I can give him a 10, but I think 10 would be overrated. I think 10 would be overrated, but I've been really been hoping and praying that Arteta would play this player because last season he was just giving me that performance against Chelsea that was like so sweet, man. It's like honey on your lips, man. Like as an Arsenal fan, you enjoy seeing players doing stuff like that. So for me, I was praying and praying that this guy can really get the opportunity, and you could clearly see it yesterday that he is just potent. He's like poison. He's fired up. The energy he
Yeah,
takes on players, he's confident on the ball. Okay, his accuracy is a bit um, let's say shots on target, it's a bit up and down. It's not really on point. But even when he's outside the box, he tried to cut in and put it on his favorite foot on his right hand side. So yeah, he brings completely different game. Much more confident than Aubameyang currently is. So I would really start him every single game from this game of last night until the end of season, definitely. So I'm gonna give him a 9. Like I said early on, he's one of the best players on the pitch for me. So a solid 9 for Martinelli.
yeah, man, I would agree with you on the 10 part. I also wanted to give him an 11, but that would be a bit overrated. But he was typically Brazilian last night, man. Typical Brazilian. That low center of gravity, the people can't get the ball off him. That high press,
Yes,
listen, that high press is so infectious. Everyone, just look at Laka and Pepe, especially when he plays. He's like that little chihuahua that's chasing them. Listen,
yes,
guys, let's go. And the
yes,
whole team feels that energy. When he's not there, the press isn't that good. You should
yes,
just check out the game. His press is very infectious. He infects
yes.
the others around him to give that same press. And that's what I love. His work rate without the ball, his work rate with the ball,
You
is
can
brilliant.
you can even ask any other supporters from other clubs if they would sign Martinelli. They would tell you
Yeah,
with a definite yes. They would tell you with a
yeah,
definite yes because everybody can see this boy's got talent. He's like a mini Ronaldo of Brazil. He's brilliant, man. Give him a couple
yeah.
more years and let him start every single game, then you will see the best out of Gabriel Martinelli. People won't forget his name because he is, for me, a
Never.
promising player.
Yeah, really. I think we did time up for another 7 years, but I think next season we should time up for another 3 years so that we know at least we have
Yes.
a contract with him for 10 years. Because listen, man, that guy. I think his
Haaland,
shooting accuracy.
Haaland, yeah, Haaland and
Yeah,
Mbappe must be careful because once
yeah,
this beast is out of his cage, then there's no stopping him.
yeah. Definitely, because he's like a type of a combination of the two. He's a combination of the
Yes.
two, man. Um, he knows how to score. He knows how to create. He knows how to get. He knows how to fetch. He knows how to play ball. And yeah, I just hope Gabriel gets his opportunity now. And like I wanted to say about the shooting accuracy, I think that's just part of not playing too much on the highest level. Um,
Yes.
Shooting in practice and shooting on the game, it's most two different things that you know. There's more pressure, so he needs to do it more in game time situations. But as we know, he's a great player, great talent, and Klopp wants to steal him. That's why I think we should sign him up for another
Yes.
10 years.
I
I don't know
fully
what's Klopp.
agree.
Klopp is always on our young players' case. He was at Odegaard's. He was rubbing Odegaard's back also after that game. I don't like it when he does that stuff because that's how we stole. Stole Chamberlain, man.
Oxford.
That's how we stole
Yes,
Chamberlain. Yeah,
yes,
the
yes.
bastard. Okay, but let's. Yeah, you wanted to say something? You want to say something on that?
Now, that happens a lot with Arsenal Football Club, man. They're always big teams or coaches. They exploit, they persuade our young players to go and play for them, and that is what happens. Nabri, the likes of Nabri, the likes of Oxlade Chamberlain. This I think someone who was it that wanted to sign Balogun now. Also a young
A lot
player,
of them.
but
A lot of them.
so. Yeah, we need to sign these players up for. I would give them a 15-year contract so they can stay forever with the club.
Yeah, listen, man. And then let's go to the 72 million pound man, Mr. Nicola Pepe. You raved about him at the beginning of the show. What would you give him?
Yes. I'm gonna give him a 9, because he left a lot of dead bodies on the pitch yesterday. So this man is just a killer on the left hand, on the right hand side. I think he played on the right hand side yesterday. When he cuts in with that left boot of him, then you must know there's trouble. So he was doing his samba, he was stepping over, doing crossovers, he was taking on defenders, dragging two players so he can make the pass in the box. So Pepe, just give him time. I think he will become one of those top players in the squad where everything is gonna know, okay, that player we need to watch out for this guy because he is deadly. So a 9 out of 10 for me. I just want Arteta really to start and keep him in that position, rather him than Willian, because Willian really don't make any difference to the game. He's just there to pass the ball around, and I mean, Willian hasn't scored any goals since the start of the season until now, so I feel bad for him. But Pepe is giving you goals and assists and nice passes in the box. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, man, Pepe was brilliant last night. I think that left foot of his and the type of step over that he does is gonna break a lot of people's necks or legs
Yeah,
in the near future. But yeah, I would also say a 9 or 10 is brilliant for Pepe's performance last night. He does, as you said, more than Willian and these type of fringe players. So I would also start him week in and week out. I would actually start that team that I had there week in and week
yes,
out. Um,
I would
um,
also.
barring barring now the likes of Tierney that's injured, those forced injuries, barring those. But definitely I would drop Oba. I would drop Oba for the rest of the season if he doesn't show promise. When I give him 10 or 15 minutes, he won't play again for me because there's something seriously wrong with Oba in terms of his attitude, in terms of his work rate, in terms of the way he applies himself to the game. There's something seriously wrong in that camp. The
Yeah,
coming late, the discipline issue, the issue with his with when his I don't know, was it his family or whatever, but a lot of stuff happened to Oba this season that I think plays on his mind, and maybe the club tried to support him as they thought they should, but apparently according to him and the way that he shows his attitude on the field, it looks like
yeah.
he's very unhappy with the club. And it looks like he's trying to influence some players to also be like that. That's why there was rumors about Arteta losing the dressing room.
Yeah, this is something when in the back of your mind, we all as Arsenal fans experience with Mesut Ozil. So I hope this is not going the same direction as Ozil. So I think Oba was out for with flu now, but I mean it's just smaller things, man. If you're club captain and you want your team to be up there, then cheer the other players up around you, not rub off negative energy like you said, and give us that performance for the past two seasons that you've been doing in the league. You've been scoring 20 odd goals, and that's why you can see Lacazette is taking those opportunities now. Whenever Lacazette plays, he's trying to score goals more and more, and he wants to show Arteta that he will be the number one striker up front. So it's not end of the day, it's good to have competition, but also that you need to show that you really want to play for the club.
Yeah. With that being said, let's head to the main man, Mr. Laka. I think he had a brilliant performance last night. Brilliant overall performance. His work rate, man. When he lost the ball, there was one phase, I
Yes,
think it was in the 20th minute. He lost the ball in his goal scoring position, but he hurried back to go fetch that ball, holding off two players, linking up with Saka again, linking up with
yes,
Martinelli, holding up the ball. His finishing was brilliant. Um, for one thing, and his overall play. Also, he was one of those guys that I wanted to give a 10, but unfortunately we can't. So what would you give him?
I'm, I'm gonna cut him. I want to say 9, but I'm gonna give him a 8.9 because I feel like I feel like the way he scored. If you look at the position, he got the ball. The second goal, I think the party pass.
Yeah,
It was very similar to the one against Slavia Prague, but I mean with
that
Slavia
he had,
Prague, it
yeah,
was one on one. It
that
was
he had.
one on one with the keeper where he just kill the ball and he just put it in the back of the net. And that against Slavia Prague, he was open to really hit the ball and just hit it into the net. So yeah,
Yeah,
that opportunity went past. So he needs to be deadlier on his finishes, especially now on Thursday night. I hope he gets more opportunities because we had a lot of opportunities in the Europa League. So yeah, like I said, he's playing better and better week in and out. So hopefully he can take that same energy into Thursday night's game and score more goals for us to win the game and to go through to the semifinals.
yeah. Listen, man, I really hope he starts. I hope Arteta comes with this nonsense and try to do some rotating on that last minute. I really hope that he starts that game.
Me too.
So then we had the substitutes. I'm not going to dwell too much on them. Could you just give us a little roundup on the substitutes and their scores?
I think El Neni came on. Edin Ketia came on. Not too sure who else because those are the two players I saw on the pitch. Al Neni, is a workhorse. I'm gonna give him a 6. He didn't really get a lot of time to play, but it was just for me surprising to have so many central midfielders, defensive midfielders on the pitch. I think Arteta wanted to try and save the game to not concede any goals. So yeah, Al Neni was running up and down box to box play as well. Yeah, he was there just to mop up and to clear the balls and stuff like that. Erin Ketia, not really did he get the opportunity, but if you give that boy a ball in a box and he's one on one, he's going to score and he's going to celebrate with the phone in his hand. So um, yeah, hopefully they can use these players also against teams like Sheffield because I mean we don't really have tough games in the next couple of games, which is 6 games. The only team I would say is gonna really we're gonna scratch your head is against Chelsea. So the other teams, Everton, Fulham, those teams, Brighton, it's teams that you think Arsenal on a normal season have to win. So yeah. So for both players, I give a 6 out of 10.
Okay, okay, cool, man. Yeah, I don't know. Now we've signed Balogun, so I don't know what that says to Eddie. That's why it's going to be interesting to know what the transfer rumors and links are going to be like. Come at the end of the season because Eddie is also now on the fringes, and if it's going to rotate between Laka and Oba in front, where does Eddie come in? Where does Balogun feature?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that little situation develops at the Arsenal Football Club. But I also agree with you. I think Eddie deserves more chances because he's also been with the club since he was small. And I think these guys that had this loyalty towards our club, they deserve their chances. I don't want Arteta to let Maitland Niles go because there's also big rumors about him leaving the club.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to say, man. And that is brilliant on the ratings. Is there anything else you would like to add before we round up the show?
I think I think a lot of Arsenal supporters is gonna disagree, but I heard some rumors about Jesse Lingard to Arsenal. To have Jesse in this type of form, it would be brilliant to bring him to Arsenal, but he's a Man United man. So if we can get that one over the line with his form that he's currently in, that would also give you another attacking player that's playing brilliantly. Because if you have to ask me who's the best player now in this month and last month and for the coming games, that's depending on his form, then everyone's gonna say Jesse Lingard just because he carried West Ham now through how many games and scored winning goals. So if that could happen for Arsenal, I think we had an opportunity last year. I think last year or the year before, where there were also rumors of Jesse to Arsenal. So I'm not a big United fan of United players, but based on his form, I would take him. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
listen,
that's all I wanted to say.
yeah, listen, man. I also wanted to speak about Lingardinho, as is now being known. He has a lot of new names: Jesse Lingardinho, Lingardinho, yeah,
Lord
whatever.
Lingard,
I'm telling you, man. But let's just hope this is not a one-season wonder where Jesse's playing his heart out
yes,
just to show the Manchester United fans something. But I would also like to have him on our team, just to spite Manchester United, because we haven't signed in um, f- um, the recent past Manchester United players, according to my knowledge.
It was only Danny Welbeck, but
Welbeck,
Welbeck scored the other
yeah,
day against United also, so he plays for Brighton.
that's also good. Yeah, that's also good.
Yeah.
That's a knock for us. Listen, Roderick, man, as always, it's been fun chatting to you. We're going to be back on Thursday, right after the game, doing the player ratings. Hope it's going to be a positive one. Hope we're going to celebrate something. And on Friday, please check out the Arsenal show, because they're also going to have some guest on there that's also going to pack out their minds. I like especially that guy, Wolfie. We have to get him
Yes.
on the show because I like the way he is anti Arteta, and I would like to have him on the show so we can have a little nice debate before the season ends. Any final words
Yes.
from you, man? To close up.
No, it's always great and good to be on the show, Derek. I always enjoy myself being on the show. I hope a lot of people can relate to that, and also that they enjoy the information we're spreading and giving. They must support this show. It's becoming a norm now that a lot of people are talking about soccer colored style and asking questions about this channel. And so for those who haven't been tuned in, they must just try and check out the channel and subscribe and watch our YouTube channel, also on Instagram, Twitter. So yeah, don't miss out, guys. Be safe and make sure that you guys are in good spirit, in good health. So yeah, have a blessed week further, and thank you, Derek, for letting me be on the show again.
It's a pleasure, Roderick, man. Always a pleasure having you on the show. And thanks for your knowledge and always your availability. Listen, guys, as Roderick said, the show is now getting some traction. And you know what to do. Like, subscribe, smash that like button. And that's what we do. Hashtag SoccerKalitzStyle signing out.
Ciao.